Welcome back! How incredibly exciting! I have received an order for one of those, and one of those. The Gregorian Scribulator, which writes the day, date and month every morning when it first sees movement using a magnetic stylus on a rotating, magnetically sensitive, well actually, what's it, Paw Patrol Kids magnetic scribbler. Works beautifully, just like the Victorians would have had access to, or magnetic scribblers. The Climatic Revelator, which displays the weather forecast using one of 5 lovely little park scenes that rotate to tell you the current weather forecast. And I've got a lovely lens system, so it all slightly distorts and is actually 3D and looks like it's burrowed into the wall, which is fun. And it also plays a tune. And the Chronological Engine, which is a multi-purpose clock that doesn't go all the way around. What fun! Right, we have some plans for the baseboards, so it's time to cut out some wood. Now this is the slightly annoying, well it's quite annoying actually, having very, very limited space, because the circular bench saw outside is too cramped to cut this out. The bandsaw has a really narrow throat, that bit, so I can't cut it on that, although I might be able to cut the bottoms off on it. So I'm going to use the lovely jigsaw. I've checked that the blade is absolutely vertical, and I'm going to use one of these wonderful things. I need to move the camera back or get a wide angle lens. Basically you clamp them onto a piece of wood and then it gives you a smooth straight edge to be able to cut along. What a lovely machine, so versatile and lovely. A new day, a new dawn, and a new jig, or an old new jig. Look, it's so satisfying. I want to start now making the Gregorian Scribulator, and to find a lovely card jig with the very precise holes for marking out this bit. So I'm just looking at the plans that I've got, and again it's so satisfying when you find that you've got all the details you need. I've realised I need to start off with the, well, let's have a little zoom in, here we are. So there's the visualisation. I want to start off by making this bit here, the bit that sticks forward. In fact, why not show you? There we are, I've forgotten I'd even got it up there. It's this bit that houses the Arduino Mega and the interface boards and other bits and pieces and motors and bits. So I'm going to build that first, and then that jig lines up with the side of this and allows me to mark out all the salient parts. It really is, I'm so pleased that I document everything like this, because I've got all the details. I'm trying to find the end of the mouse. All the details here, for example, this is the bit that erases with a magnet. It brings a magnet forward at the back of the disc to erase it before it rewrites the new day's day, date and month. And somewhere over here, there we are. I remember redesigning it at some stage and doing a laser cut all the panels to make that box. And it's great because it can also engrave the 6 little holes at the front for the control. The stylus points to which one when you're setting it with the valve. Currently it's pointing to A, and A here is operate, and you can adjust it all with this. There's a pointer here that points to some engraved numbers and letters and names around the outside, so you can set the day, date and month and time if you want, although I haven't had to ever reset this because of the real-time clock inside that just keeps going and knows all about months and leap years and everything else. Stop talking and get that cut out. I've also cut out some of these bits on the laser cutter that are going to support the keyhole supports. If you ever want to get any of these, look for headboard bedding supports, because companies that make headboards and bed accessories sell them, I think they're sort of like 20p each. If you look on eBay or Amazon or anything else, or normal sort of fixings, hardware companies, they can go up to about £6 each. Absolute fallacy. And of course, the ever wonderful V-block to help line them up. I've cut 2 little holes there so I can put 2 panel pins, and that's what's going to support the beading at the back. I'll be able to glue that there with a mitre joint, and it'll look lovely. As always, because I haven't got a mitre saw, I've got strips of this beading overly long, and I've used my sanding jig to sand a mitre on one end, and then I can line it up carefully and then put a digital mark there, then take this over to the sanding machine aforementioned, put that the right way round like that to the mark and sand it up to it, and then that's really accurate. It forms a really nice mitre joint. What's happening? Well, just making I've got the sides fitted on the base, which looks lovely, and I'm assembling the enclosure, which is going to hold all the goodies, the electronicals that we don't speak about. I've made the sides, and I've just glued lots of square section on there, and to make sure that it dries absolutely flat, because the laser ply, this stuff does tend always to be a little bit warped. It's very good quality, very consistent, so it cuts beautifully, but it always warps a bit, and that's quite a long bit, so I'm just making sure that does dry flat. During the meanwhilest, I'm looking at this, and I'm going to do some machining. There's 3 pillars, hexagonal pillars, that support with pulleys on the end of them, that will support the actual rotating disc where the writing occurs, and they're offset, as I've just realised, having written it there. I've just noticed I'd written it there. And I'm going to machine them out of brass, which is lovely. Seem to have forgotten everything I knew about how to use a lathe. Anyway, I finally got the tool set up properly, and that's now parting off beautifully, so I'll get 4 of them parted off. Just going to dress the ends, I don't know whether that's even the word, but I think it's what it's called, to make them look nice. That's nice, isn't that lovely? Excellent. Now I need to drill and tap an M4 hole in the end of this. We start with a centre drill, which allows you, because it's so sturdy, to put it in the chuck and drill exactly precisely into the middle, just as a starter, and then you put the right drill bit in after that. I need an M4 thread, so I'm going to use a 3.3mm drill bit, because obviously you need to leave enough metal around the edge to cut out all the threads with the little cutting bits on the end of the tap. The other nice lovely thing about working with brass is you don't need any lubricant, because it's sort of self-lubricating. So what I'm going to do, and if I switch the switch the right way, there we are. And then we have a beautiful tapped hole. Right, I'll go ahead. They're going to hold the pulleys on the front. I'll go ahead and do the other ones. Now then, now I've got that end done in the centre. When I was designing this, I was thinking, how can I adjust this? Because everything always needs adjusting, however careful you are, especially when you've got 3 supports, rotating supports supporting a rotating thing. And it suddenly dawned on me, with the aid of a thick metal washer, I could solve it. I could have an offset hole, the M5 hole that's going to screw these into the base with a machine screw from the back. and then if you loosen it a bit, you can twist this round and it'll move it backwards and forwards, and it worked a treat. And I was thinking, well, there's got to be a proper way of doing this, or there's the steamhead way of doing this. And I'll have to say, nothing has flown out. I've still got my correct number of eyes and fingers and everything else, but it means it wobbles round as it spins, as it turns, as it weathers. So we're going to do exactly the same thing again with the centre drill to start with, but this time it's M5 because I wanted it to be a little bit more, you know, solid when it was attached to the base. So there we are, M5 4.2mm drill bit. Right, let's get drilling and tapping. And there we have it. So now, if I loosen that and then I can twist it round, it will basically move the pulley nearer and further away from where it needs to be, so I can get really precise adjustments. I'll get the other two done. Just about to take the dog for a walk, and I've got some new compliment slips arriving via the postage. UPS. I hate them with vengeance. I just thought, okay, I want to track it, so you're allowed to track it, but then I said, okay, I want to organise a redelivery, e.g. leave it behind the car or something in case I'm out. So you go to that, and that's all fine. Oh yeah, we offer this. Now you have to log in, you have to create an account, you have to tick a box saying, yes, you can pass on all my personal information to anyone you see fit. That's absolutely fine. So you try and log in and all that, that doesn't work. And it just goes on and on and on. It is absolutely ridiculous. I've just wasted 15 minutes, you know. I might as well wait for my son to get home now. It is so frustrating. And the worst thing is that all these companies say, oh, we really care about your custom. We love the fact that you're one of our customers. We value you and your privacy and all that. And it is a load of old crap. They couldn't care less. Oh, it infuriates me. Just be honest, just so you couldn't give a damn and you don't care and you really don't want me to reorganise my delivery. It's just, I much prefer honesty. Anyway, here we are, nice and calm, island of tranquility in this hideous world. That is one side. As you can see, I've had to leave bits and pieces off because the stepper motor that raises and lowers the magnetic erasing bar sits there. It took me a long time, I remember, with the first one that I built to realise I had to chop bits of wood away to get this to fit. So that's nice, and there's other gaps for another stepper motor and a pipe and all sorts, and the big gear that sticks out. That's lovely, and that's lovely. Right, next thing, drill a load of holes and then get these mounted. And then you can see that that goes on like that, and that goes on like that. Funny thing is, when I was redesigning it last time, there's the big cylinder across the top that holds one of the motors that lifts and lowers the pen. That's right, the scribe thing, magnetic scribe. And when I was building it, I kept needing to adjust it and to get to bits and pieces and things, because as I said, everything's adjustable and has to be. And it meant unscrewing this top bit every time to get the bottom bit open. Hence the fact, what a joy! So the top bit can stay in place and I can keep taking this apart to fiddle and tinker to my heart's content. Let's get that fixed together. Well, it's just as well I did wait in because it's just arrived. Here we are. Let's have a look inside. Oh, that's come out nicely, if you don't mind me saying so. I'm very pleased with that. So I've probably been printing some compliment slips off with, well, on the printer and just including them in some of the kits, but I keep thinking, you know, there's so many other things, like my website and the, what's that? YouTube and Facebook and Etsy. And I've included a little QR code just to completely confuse your mobile phone when you point it and it tries to read the wrong one. Never mind. And then on the back, because this is what I thought I liked about the business cards, that's come out really nicely. Took ages to organise to make sure that it was bleed and everything off the side, so it didn't have a white border. I'm really pleased with that. The colours look nice. I'm very pleased, and if anyone's interested, that was with a company called Moo. No affiliation as always, or ever. And it's taken them about a week to do, and they were fairly reasonable. I can't remember how much they cost. I got 500 done in the end. I think it was about £60, but that's not bad for a double-sided premium card, and that's very nicely printed. Lovely. Right, on that note, I will take the dog out. I've got that one fixed down. Little top tip. I also drill a hole right the way through, slightly larger at the top, so I can get the screwdriver down through, and obviously line it up away from the holes that need to fix that bit on. And then you just line it up, twist it a titchy bit with a screwdriver, and it leaves a perfect little point that you can then drill out. I'm pre-drilling these out because I want it to line up perfectly to 1.5 mil. And then I've countersunk the top of them. The reason being that as you put a screw in, it will actually lift a load of the wood up, and you'll get a little mound at the top, which can then lift the base, the two pieces of wood apart. But if you do a little countersink there, when you screw it together, it gives a little bit of space for any removed wood to fill. Like so. And it is so enjoyable if you have drilled a pilot hole, because it's lovely. It just, is it? Where is it? What? Oh, there it is. There you are. Proof is in the pudding. It just lines up perfectly. When I first started doing it like this, because obviously you want to be able to get everything apart, partly because your brain is a muscle and you may do it all wrong, make stupid mistakes, but also if you then need to, well in this case, stain it all, it'll be far easier to stain taking it apart. And also just for, you know, servicing, or just while you build it you want to get things apart again. It makes so much sense, because I could have just glued this on, but then I'd be stuffed if I'd done anything wrong. Well, so that's perfect. I'll go ahead and do the same. Look at that. I mean, isn't that lovely? I don't even know whether, yeah, you can see that. And that, so now I've got all that down. Screw in there, rubber band around the outside, and glue the end bits on. How exciting. Thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you next time when it'll be stained and starting to add the brass, lovely brass things and all sorts of other bits and pieces. Thanks for watching. Please click subscribe. There's more information on all my inventions at steamhead.co.uk. Thanks again.